More Than Strength. Welcome to More Than Strength. Today I'm joined by a fellow starting strength coach, actually one of the coaches who passed me on my certification. So we're friends.
Yeah.
Niki Sims. And what Niki and I are going to talk about today is basically training for performance versus training for aesthetics. And it's a topic that is covered pretty widely. There's a bunch of different opinions on it, but I'm excited to hear the opinion from Niki because she is a woman strength coach in the field. So she's a minority. And I think she's going to have a really unique perspective for both men and women for everyone to learn. So thanks for coming on, Niki. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And you coach where? And you're in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta at a gym called Atlanta Barbell. It's a giant facility. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but it's just like an airplane hangar of squat racks. It's beautiful.
And you guys just opened, that's a new facility, right? Recently?
Yeah. Alex Kennedy and Dee Campagnella, they've had this gym for going on a couple years now, but we just expanded into something really giant. So
awesome. And you recently moved there?
Yeah, I came here from San Francisco, for the food, just to get that.
That's logical reason why most people move to the East Coast. So.
Yeah, if you want to become just pimento cheese, you would move here.
If I know anyone looking to become pimento cheese, I'll send them your way.
It's a great life goal. Perhaps we'll talk about that later today.
That'll be we'll do a follow-up episode with how to become pimento cheese. All right. So before we dive into the aesthetics versus performance conversation, first off, something we haven't really talked about at all on any of the shows that we've done is what is coaching? Like, what is physical coaching? What should somebody, if they hire a trainer, what should they be experiencing in terms of a coach?
Yeah, I think it's really good that you're talking about this because that can kind of be a tough thing to figure out when you go to a gym and give someone money, as a potential client or as the consumer. What you want to accomplish and you're giving someone money to help you get there. And they say, I'll coach you, I'll train you. But what they need to do is they need to have the skills to communicate to you so that you can move or perform in a way that is kind of ideal to get to your performance goals or aesthetic goals. So it really has a lot to do with the coach understanding the ideal and being able to communicate to the trainee in order for them to achieve what we know to be the ideal. And that, as you know, like that has to be done in person. Like, you're doing a set of squats. I need to be right there telling you to drive more with your hips or to keep your knees out. And that's not really something that an internet coach can do. They can do other things for you, but being your coach and telling you what to do is just not possible to do when you're not in the same room.
So you've got you've been coaching for how many years now?
Like 7 years now. Yeah, like 7 years.
Okay. So I'm sure in that time have you experimented with like the aesthetics versus performance? Like what's your experience with that?
Yeah. That's interesting. So people usually, most people come into a gym with goals that are like, well, I want to look better. I want to lose some weight. I want to have more muscle. Usually it's like, I want to lose weight and have muscle tone. Kind of what it comes down to. Because that's kind of an easy goal to have. You don't really know how to measure performance goals when you first get into this kind of stuff, but we do know like, that person looks good. A lot of people like her. I want to look like her. So, I guess you kind of have to, I kind of dabbled around with like, yeah, I want everybody to look better because, as a naive CrossFit coach, we all just wanted abs. So I was like, okay, well, let's just do everything that we need to do to get you abs. But what I learned from that cycle is that there's like a 6 month to 1 year lifespan of people actually getting better or losing weight because, after 6 months of just forcing yourself into a, caloric deficit by basically overtraining, you kind of get as far as you can in 6 months, and then you need something that's actually more intelligent. And that's where, training for performance is important, because it's, if you're actually trying to also achieve aesthetic goals, it's a lot more long-term and measurable, and for most people, a healthier approach to getting better.
Yeah, and not just like physically healthier, but even just psychologically too.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think having, experience training for a six pack and for aesthetics, and training for performance type goals, like what issues do you think come about when your sole focus is, what you look like in the mirror?
That's hard, because it's not really objective, and you basically allow yourself to constantly, or to more easily, be disappointed. And training for a six pack is definitely doable. Like if you just want to get lean and cut for certain reasons, that is possible. But if you're basing that six pack off of what someone else looks like, then you're in really big danger of never achieving that goal, because you can only have a six pack on your body. Maybe that's not the right thing for you to be doing, but it was the right thing for someone else to be doing. So mostly what that stems from is a desire to want to look like someone else, where you set your end goal from something that's not even you. It's like wanting to, have pizza, but going to the grocery store and buying things to make like a sandwich. You're never going to get what you want because you don't have the tools to make it.
If you want the pizza, go get the pizza.
Yeah. You have to have been born the pizza.
Pimento cheese pizza.
Yeah.
So do you think that that is, would you say it's the most common, I mean, you kind of said before, it's the most common reason that, or goal that people come in with is like, I want to look better.
Yeah.
And I do think it comes from, like something with inside people, like it's just your body. When you look better, it's probably because you're doing at least some of the right things. So you're going to feel better. But also, do you think that the idea of having to have like a six pack, or like having the best ass in yoga pants, like, do you think that that's perpetuated by a lot of what we see in the media and like Instagram and just social media in general?
Mm-hmm. I definitely do. Like if you spend any time on Instagram, and you look at some of the most liked videos, they tend to be, exercise fitness videos. And if you're fueled by likes, if you lift for likes and stuff like that, then it can be very unfulfilling. But you'll see like, oh, this chick, like she just does, the yes girl, no girl machine all day. And like, oh, she's got like 16,000 followers. Like I want that for my life. Like,
so for
it's
people,
so unfulfilling.
so for people who don't know what the yes girl, no girl machine is, it's the one where you sit down and you open your legs and then you close your legs and then you open and close it. So that's what it is. But yeah, I know what you mean, because that's actually one of the reasons like I started this podcast. I mean, I go on Instagram and you look at, if you go for like click search, it's all the videos that are like trending or whatever is going on, recommended videos. And it's like, click on this lady. She's wearing a thong. Yeah, I'll admit I was attracted. I saw a girl in a thong. Who wouldn't click on that?
Right. Yeah.
And then I'm like, what the heck does this person do? And I look, 8 million followers. And then she's like selling fitness programs and stuff, which like, there's nothing wrong. Like, go ahead, sell your fitness programs, but you're really selling sex. It's not fitness. But 8 million people versus the people that like, some people that we read about, and like, maybe, I don't know, like obviously Mark Ripto, like the Starting Strength, the Jim Wendlers, like the community of people who are a lot more driven toward, being disciplined, putting in the work, and then reaping the benefits from that. Like they have way less, like it's such a better message that they're sending, but they have so much less of a following. So how would you, like, have you had any experience like with clients that you've coached, or that you're currently coaching, that have made the transition from training for just looks to crossing over into that, the training for a specific objective, trackable type goal? And like, how have you seen it change either your mentality or their mentality toward well, training, but also like the way that they feel about themselves as well.
Mm-hmm. I think I can speak more to my personal experience in training, towards those two end goals. Like when I first got into exercise or whatever, it was just, to be skinny, because that's what was good at the time. And, and also I really thought Jessica Biel had a great butt in Stealth. And I was like, okay, I want my butt to look like that. Like motivation for like a year. But as that shifted, or as I like started training with a barbell more and more, you actually just get fueled by your own success, and you see this when anybody does, a novice LP is like, every time you go to the gym, you hit a PR, and like, that you're better because you just squatted more weight, and that's much more worthy of appreciation versus, I think I look better today, or I think my butt looks more like Jessica Biel's. Like, you don't know. And, you'll rely on other people to tell you if your butt looks great versus, the barbell telling you that, yeah, you're stronger today, which is, it's real. It's really awesome. And then people stop relying on other people to validate how they appear. And you just rely on your habits that you've established and the success that brings you. And so you achieve more.
Yeah, I definitely experienced the same thing, because the next thing I'd like to talk about is a little bit about, body image issues and, the aesthetic goal and like how that kind of manifests itself in someone's mind without them knowing, like slowly. Because like, I know when I first like really started getting into training, I don't know, probably like eight years ago, like I started with Arnold's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, like every other like 17, 18-year-old male. And I didn't even realize it, but like same thing, like the caloric deficit, like I was always chubby growing up. And so I thought, well, having a six pack, honestly, that's going to get me more girls. Like that's what I thought, which it's pretty logical, right? But what I did to myself is I didn't even realize that like I was overtraining so much, and I created this like really skinny, like had abs, like skeleton type looking figure. And it really did. It took a toll like on my mentality, because like everything, I was worried about every single thing I was eating. I was worried about like, oh, do I look lean today, or that kind of thing, and always kind of trying to look like those guys that are, getting photo shoots done after 18 weeks of, specific training, meal prep, all that kind of stuff, but all year long. And I think like for me, I'll admit it, like I definitely had struggled with some body image issues, and I could only imagine what it's like to be a female and have that in your face, like not even, when you're starting to like want to, date other people, but from like the time you're a young child, I feel like that's something that's just thrown in women's faces. They have to look this certain way or wear these types of things or these colors and that kind of thing. Do you think that, I mean, like those, like training for aesthetics is something that creates body image issues, like that message that you see, like we just talked about on social media and magazines, do you think that creates body image issues?
Yeah, I think it strengthens the perception that for you to be respected as a female or male in the fitness industry, that you need to be very aesthetically appealing, even though probably like of 16,000 followers someone has, like 2/3 is maybe dudes just jacking off to her, like but it still makes people think that I need to look like that if I want to be respected.
Yeah, because even indirectly it'd be like, well, that's like to the dude quacking beef to that girl on the like he's looking for that in a woman now, like when he goes out into the world in search of a mate.
Yeah, and it's not always real, because some people people will look a certain way based off of many factors, highly influenced by genetics, how they train, what their goals are, like how they eat, it's influenced by so many things. And a girl can't really expect to become that, because those expectations would be completely misleading, and she would just be let down and then again feel really horrible about herself.
Yeah.
Instead of relying on her function. Function is something that you can control. And I think if we start appreciating that more, appreciating function and rewarding habit and using that to kind of look up to in really successful people, that would have a huge impact on shifting our own kind of perception of good or bad body image.
Yeah.
And you just need to give yourself something real to rely on versus what you perceive other people think of you, because that's just us being nuts in our own heads. And I know women are really bad at that, because I am.
Yeah.
Too.
I kind of think that a lot of people are that way. I don't know if it's just local to women. So basically, to sum it up a little bit, is if you're born a pizza, then be the best pizza you can be. Like focus on improving your crust and your cheese, and just be the best pizza. And if you're born a sandwich, like understand, like you can be a sandwich and just be the best sandwich you can be.
I think you nailed it.
That's pretty much it.
A lot of people like pizzas. A lot of people like sandwiches. Like,
exactly.
What matters is that you like your own pizza.
I think that's the best advice I've ever heard. Just be your own pizza. Your pepperoni, own it.
Yeah, good for you. Everyone likes meat, whatever.
So I know we're talking about this training for performance and like hitting new PRs and weights and stuff. I'm sure like women listening to this who maybe aren't into the barbell training world, or even guys, like, are they going to look like men after they do this? Like, I feel like we just need to address that, because we're talking about this. Like I said, we're not saying don't train for looks at all. We're saying basically focus on what is tangible, like what is objective and trackable, and then let the results just speak for themselves in terms of how you look. So are they going to look like men if they train like that?
I think so too. And like, there are many things that are attractive, and like, capacity and function is, something that's pretty attractive. Like if someone, I was talking to, I think it was my boyfriend about this, like everybody who has like really beefy biceps brachialis, like, they lift. Like that is really appealing to a lot to weirdos like me. But it speaks to like your health as a human being. And I think that actually I think it's shifted, especially like in San Francisco, where everybody just likes tube arm people. I don't understand that, but like, there's still kind of an instinctual attraction to like a functional human being.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, if you train, that word functional, but if you train to be like functional, when we say that, we don't mean standing on one leg with a finger in your nose and one eye closed, like balancing, or we're talking about
you can produce force.
Yeah. Like you're training with barbells, you're squatting, if you train in that way, you're going to look like you train in that way. And that doesn't mean like a big meathead. It means whatever your pizza allows you to look like. Yeah. Basically, right?
And that you're useful. You're a useful human being.
Yeah.
Which is great.
It's good to be useful.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to, because I think something, and actually a lot of the clientele that I coach are middle-aged women, and I coach them out of basically black iron, CrossFit. It's a pretty intimidating atmosphere if you've never been in a gym before. And I think that's something that stops a lot of, not even just women, but just people in general, from entering into the promised land of squat racks. What advice would you give to somebody who maybe is right in that that contemplation stage where they're like, I think I should do this, but I'm nervous. I don't know where to start or what to do or where to even go. Like, what advice would you give to somebody in that stage?
I would tell them that they're in the exact right time and place to start. Like wherever you are now, whatever you're capable of, whatever you think you're not capable of is fine. Just go and be better tomorrow than you were today. Show up. You're not going to regret it. And you're in an excellent position to get started right now. And just, do you. Don't worry about what someone else is doing. You're in if they go see you, they're in great hands with the coach, and, just appreciate every little success that you achieve and don't rely on what other people think about it. It's just show up and do yourself.
Yeah, that's what I think the clients that I coach, or the people that I coach that have the best results, are the ones that come in and they might feel that uneasiness about just being in a new place and an uncomfortable place, but they're the ones who just think, and they say, I have like how'd you feel walking in the first couple times when you were here? I like to pick their brain about it, so that way I can make it more comfortable when they do come in. But they just say, I don't care what other people are doing. Like, I've had enough. Like, I'm going to focus on me. And those are the people that I find have the best results, rather than, because even though it's not an aesthetic goal, even if you're training just because you're intimidated in a place, but if you're just focusing on you and realizing that that's what you're doing right now is solely and only for you and not the other eyes in the gym, helps people to stay adherent to training and to feel better about themselves every time that they leave. Would you say the same thing?
That's a really good point. Because we said that aesthetic goals will be achieved based on genetics, but so will performance goals. So like you said, just whatever you do, however much you progress, that's great. That's what you can do. Just rely on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's all the questions that I had for you today. Just nice, short and sweet.
Yeah.
And I think we got a really good message out there for people. Do you have anything to add, first off? And secondly, do you where can people find Niki Sims, starting strength coach?
I don't think I have anything to add. Just, find a good coach, stick to a process, and create good habits, because the habit of showing up to the gym is a very, very strong one that will give you a lot over time.
Yeah. That's explained very well in an article you just wrote. What was it titled again?
Just show up.
Just show up.
Yeah. And that's on my blog, which is betweensets.wordpress.com, if you're really bored.
So that's one place they can find you. Where else can people, specifically like if women or even guys, they want to reach out to you and kind of pick your brain and maybe ask about something that they might be struggling with? Where can they find you?
You can reach me over email. I'm at Niki, Niki at simsstrength.com. That's SIMS strength.com. I also am on staff at the Starting Strength seminars, as you know, identifying coaches like Danny. And we're hosting a seminar here in Atlanta in November. I'm also on the Instagrams with the handle Veranas, which I guess I should spell.
With no thong pictures at all.
No, it's mostly just this really great pit bull who's in my life and some mediocre squatting. And I have a log on the Starting Strength forums.
And very nice. How do you spell that if people want to go follow you on Instagram?
I spell it VERA_NAHCE. And once you start saying it, it's really hard to not ever say it again.
Yeah. I want to say it, but I'm not going to for that.
Okay.
All right. So thank you for coming on the show. And that's all we have for today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks. Keep up all the good stuff you're putting out. It's awesome. Yeah.
Thanks, Niki. Appreciate it.
Good luck out there, everybody.